I'm going to paraphrase the great Bruce Lee, who said, "Don't fear the man who has 10,000 different kicks, but the one who has one kick that they've practiced 10,000 times." Now, our golf version of that is that while we all have the ability to carry 14 clubs, we don't have to be the master of all 14. We don't have to be able to control the curvature, the trajectory, and have 5 different ways of playing each of those 14 different clubs. Boy, that's 70 different shots already. What we're going to do today is we're going to look at 3 shots. So if you have to play a game where you're nervous, but you want to play really well, we're going to take a slightly different approach, a little bit more conservative, to playing 3 different types of shots. Now, if you've got these 3 shots, I will guarantee you that you're going to play some pretty good golf. So firstly, my club of choice is not going to be the driver, but I'm going to take my 3-wood. Now, the driver will hit the ball further than what my 3-wood will, but the 3-wood having more loft means that it's easier to get in the air, and what you might find sometimes, just having that extra loft means that it's easier to strike, so the ball will actually go further as well as straighter. So let's use the 3-wood as our first strategic decision on the tee. Okay, so not only am I not going to use my driver, but I'm going to use my 3-wood, I'm also going to take the swing and make it fairly smooth, so that my objective is to get the center of the club face on the ball. I'm going to especially make a nice free motion. I'm not going to try and steer the ball down the fairway, but especially not going to put massive amounts of effort into the shot. So let's play the shot, see how we go. So there's my first shot. It's got me safely on the fairway. Let's go and have a look at the second shot. Now, if I play that shot most of the time, except on par 3s, and maybe sometimes even take a hybrid, I'm going to hit more fairways and I'm going to hit more greens because of that. And if I do happen to miss the green, I'm going to finish a lot closer. The ability for me to hit the green drops drastically from being on the fairway to being in the rough. And of course, if I'm in the trees, it's next to impossible. So let's get the ball on the fairway, which I've just done. Okay, for this shot, I'm around about 150 yards or 135 meters from the pin. Again, if we're taking this reasonably conservative approach, that I want to be able to control the strike as much as anything, so that if I do happen to miss-hit the ball, obviously I'm trying to hit it correctly, but if it does happen to be miss-hit, then the result is probably not as extreme as if I try and hit it hard. So this shot here is around about 135 meters, 150 yards. Now, my approach that I took from the tee was to get the ball in the fairway. My approach with this shot is to get it on the green, or certainly as near to the green as I possibly can. So the first step I'm going to take is to take more club than I think is necessary. So if I try and hit a full shot, so normally 150 yards, 135 meters from me is around about an 8-iron. For you, it might be a different club. Now, especially as today has a little bit of wind, I'd have to hit that with pretty much my full effort to get the ball to travel that far. Now, if I happen to miss-hit the shot at all, then I'm going to struggle to get the ball anywhere near the green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one more club. So in fact, I've got a 7-iron here for this particular shot. Now, when I play a 7-iron, it's going to fly lower than what it otherwise would if I was hitting a full shot. That's actually going to give me better control, especially today where there's a little bit of wind, but it will otherwise give me pretty good control. Now, with this particular shot, as we can see, there's no trouble in front of the green. There's no bunkers guarding the front, so I don't have to carry the ball over any obstacle to get to the green. Different story if I did, but in this case, I'm playing very conservatively. So let's play this shot nice and easy at the middle of the green. So my shot's on the green. So that it's not right next to the pin, but hey, I'm on the green, and that's the key objective for me as a start point for all of these shots. The more times I'm able to hit the ball on the green, the better chance I've got of either 1 putting for birdie or 2 putting for par. So let's go and have a look at what our third shot is of these 3 shots that are our base shots for getting around the course in as good a score, as low a score as we possibly can. So the shot that I've got here is about 50 yards, 50 metres from the pin. Now, most players in this situation will take the most lofted club in their bag because they like to see it fly high and stop quickly. Plus it's a short shot, and so the thinking is if it's a short shot, then I need loft. One really good mantra to remember is that anytime you add loft, you're also adding risk to the shot. So what we're going to do is this third shot in our conservative but more likely to be a good scoring approach to playing the game is, rather than playing this shot with, say, one of my wedges, my lob wedge at worst, my sand wedge or pitching wedge, I'm actually going to play with a 7-iron. Now, given that I've probably got about 35 paces to the green and about 15 more to the pin. So most of the ground is going to be sort of fairway that I'm covering before I get it to roll. So I'm going to need to land the ball well short of the green and have it run up. Now, most of the time, most players will say, well, I don't want to do that because I don't know how it's going to bounce, but it's still going to be pretty reliable, especially if the ground is not either too undulating, or of course if there's no hazard in between, no bunker or something like that, which would massively add to the risk, in which case you would have to hit over it. But certainly in this shot, where we don't have those things, we're going to play the shot just like a big chip shot. So when I'm playing my shot, I want to have very little wrist motion when I'm playing it. I definitely want to make sure that my body continues to move, so I'm not going to lock my body in and just use my arms. I'll swing the club back, and as my arms swing down and through, my body's also going to move with that arm movement. Now that will allow me to produce a fair amount of power without having to put a whole lot of effort in. So let's play this shot. So ball's landed well short of the pin and then runs up fine. So when you're playing these shots, the key thing is we're not after flashiness. We're after a dash of conservatism that is going to help you play really well. Now, sometimes when you're playing well, you will get into trouble. So if you're looking for advice on how to avoid compounding errors, what happens even when the best players hit poor shots, you can check out this video that's in the description below. And also, if you're looking to find out how best to strike the ball, then I've got a series of videos which you can download and watch for free. And again, the link is in the description below. So have a look at those videos, learn how to strike the ball correctly, and figure out what you do on those probably very rare occasions that you do happen to get into trouble.